Hello everyone and welcome back to Kentucky Garden Gal. This is Nancy. It is the first day of May and I am making a video for garden tips, things that we can be doing in our gardens for the month of May. I am in zone 7, so these are primarily things for zone 7, but you'll notice I got my seeds out today. And I had a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to organize my seeds and see what all I have. I'm always, I want to make sure that I have the seeds that I want for the flowers that I want. And I went ahead, I've been sitting out here for a while, just sort of organizing my seeds. But I wanted to get out my zinnia seeds and my cosmos seeds and directly sow those. I made a little cutting garden space back in the back garden, so I needed to get those seeds out today, and I wanted to go ahead and sow my moonflowers. Now I have planted things winter sowing the way that we did, and I'll be putting those out, but this is the time of year that I'm going to go ahead and plant my cutting garden. And I was also looking for my straw flowers. I had found these. These are really good to direct sow, and looks like I've got a couple of colors of those. So that's really, I think, all the seeds that I'm going to plant today, but it won't be long before I'll be planting my pumpkin seed, and then I think this week my goal is to get my sunflower seeds out. I have an area that I want to work up. So what I start doing from this time of year right on up to about 6 weeks before the first frost, I do something called succession planting, where I'll plant just like a few of my cosmos and zinnias tomorrow, and then I'll wait a couple of weeks and I'll plant more, and that way I have longer bloom times. So that's what I'm doing now as far as my seeds. I'm directly sowing them into the soil, and I was looking that I had some, oh, here they are, the birdhouse gourds. I'm going to try these this year, so I have to go to Tractor Supply and get a trellis because I want to grow these on a trellis. And I also saw some more loofah seeds in here, so I wanted to do those too on trellises. This is the patch that I tilled up for my cutting garden, and I've done one till, and as you see there's some weeds. It's rained, so I'll get back in here and do another good till before I plant those this afternoon. But something else I wanted to show you, the irises are in bloom. And oftentimes you may have a friend that says, oh, I want one of your white, or I want one of your purple, whatever. So something that you can do, you can bring a permanent marker and you can write on this leaf what color this is, or you can tag them, whichever one works for you. But we just literally write it on the stem, and then that way we know what color the iris is, because you really can't tell, once the flowers have fallen off. And we'll just take a peek at everything. I had planted some asparagus earlier, and a friend gave me some wood ash, so I sprinkled that in there. That's supposed to be good for it. And it looks like the foxglove, I have this lavender out to plant this afternoon. I've still got to get that in the ground. But the foxglove is doing good, and if you've watched my channel, you know that I struggled and struggled and struggled, and finally got foxglove established in this bed. And the way that I did it, it is a biannual. I also struggled with hollyhocks. And the way I finally do it, I plant them twice a year. I just sow those seeds twice a year. And then luckily, once you get them well established, they will kind of self-seed themselves. So I have been able to take flowers from this garden and put them in 2 other gardens. So now I have the foxglove flower in 3 areas of my gardens. This is the world's most curious chickens. If I am anywhere near their coop, they all have to rush over to see what I'm doing. So I am making a video, girls. Say hello to everybody. There you go. Good girls. These are some beds that I have planted up, and I wanted to tell you how I did these. This is Dame's Rocket and some type of hollyhock. You see something's eating the daylights out of it right there. I want to sow this. Late last fall, I came in and I just scattered some seeds. So these came up from last fall, and I'll let them grow up, but I'm sure I need to separate and get some of those out of there. This is carrots for the bunnies, and the very same thing. I sowed these seeds late last fall, and my bunnies were able to eat carrots all but about 10 days out of the entire winter, and it was when the soil was literally frozen and I could not get the carrots out. But they love the tops just as much as they love the carrots. And then these are some things that I have, some lettuces that I've sown. I think this is arugula right here, which should come back. And then some things in there. And then those are the pawpaw trees. I have 3 pawpaw trees back there that are just loving life right now. So I'm thrilled to death. This is one of the other gardens that has the foxglove in it, and it's been taken over by daylilies. So I've got to come in here and dig out a lot of these daylilies, but you can see there's a peony that is in bloom, and then the foxglove, and then there are some gladiolas coming up and some bellflowers. But I really do want to get, this bed is, I would say, half in daylilies, and so they need to be thinned out considerably because they are really good at naturalizing. So that's something that I'll do this month, is dig out these daylilies and plant some other flowers, probably just seed. This is another area of my garden that I'm working on, and I redid this. I had pampas grass in here, and there was just too much. So I've come in, I've taken it out. You can see where I'm sowing grass seed. So every afternoon I make sure I come out and water my grass seed really good. But this morning I put in snapdragons and salvia, and then in the bare spaces that you see in here, this afternoon I will directly sow some flower seeds. Just different things. I may do some straw flowers in here, and then some zinnias and some cosmos, but I just want to pack this as full as I can get it. And then you see that the roses are beginning to bloom. And we talked earlier in the year, I am using a 3-in-1, it's a fertilizer, insecticide, and fungicide. It's a rose care product. It's a granular product I pick up at Lowe's. So the first of every month, I come and I give my roses a dose of that rose care, and so far they really all seem to be doing well. So that's something that I'm trying to stay up on this year, is a lot of prevention. I have treated my grass several times for grubs, because the grubs will turn into the Japanese beetles that attack our flowers in the late summer. So when I'm digging, I'm not seeing the big grub larva, I think it's called, but I have found a few babies, but I'm hoping to cut down on the amount of Japanese beetles that I have in my garden. As you can see, our tulips and our daffodils from the spring garden, those, some of them I've already kind of mowed over, and now other things are popping up. And every day I'm getting out and I'm putting more plants. I'm trying to fill up all of my planters that I have around. And of course having to water good, so that's another thing, you have to stay on your watering. Now I have brought out my house plants. This is a night blooming cereus, and I keep this in the house. I generally do not bring this plant out until it is going to be 60 degrees and above at night. I think we have one night that's going to be 56 in the 10-day forecast, and this is an older plant. I think it will do fine, but when we get up on the front porch, you'll see that I have brought all of my houseplants out, and I can't ever remember a year that we have been able to do this early, because generally even it can be cold on Derby Day, which is the first Saturday in May. There's been plenty of derbies where it didn't look anything like this, but I'm just trying to get all of the planters filled. And of course I'm always redoing flower beds and adding and take away. Things live their life, and so we have to do new things. The little pots that I had made for summer, I'm now introducing, for spring, I'm now introducing summer flowers, but next spring these should be fine as far as the bulbs staying in there and them doing well. So the same thing over here. I have, I think, 5 of these. There's another one that I've been working on. Of course, I've been adding roses to my garden, so these are really coming along. This one here is just loaded with buds. I can't wait to see this color. But every day I'm just out adding flowers, pulling weeds. Of course I weed all the time. I'm working on my sidewalk, trying to get some more color, so I've added some more flowers to this, and then I'm hoping that my son can do some work on my actual sidewalk this summer and maybe hopefully pour me another one. So we've been working on the front porch, bringing out our house plants. This happens to be my Christmas cactus. Well, no, excuse me. It's a Thanksgiving cactus. So there's Lucy. So when I brought these out, I didn't realize how dusty and dirty they were in the house. So I gave them just a good sprinkle from the hose, and I fertilized them good. And that's something that we want to do in the summertime, is to make sure at least monthly we are fertilizing these cactuses. Those are some night blooming cerisuses down there that I've started. I think there's 6 in there, and I will eventually divide those up and pot those up, but those are so easy to propagate and to grow. I brought my orchids out. I sort of have interest and then I lose interest in my orchids, and as you can tell, they've been in a shoe lost interest phase. So I'm going to bring them out. I'm going to give them a fertilizer every other week and see if we can't get these to produce some blooms. The ferns on the front porch, I do come out every day and spray them, fertilize them with the Epsom salt that we talked about a few videos ago. As you can see, I've mowed the grass. I think I've mowed the grass maybe 4 or 5 times. And I did sow some grass seed this year. I can tell the difference. I can tell exactly where it doesn't have the grass seed. So I think that is one of the, like this area right here, I didn't seed it as heavily as I did that area over there. And plus I've put the pelletized lime on a couple of times. So I want to continue to do that, but the flowers are starting to fill in. There's the Siberian irises. Those are just so pretty. These also come in a yellow, and I had purchased some from the garden club, and I don't think I got them in the ground and they didn't make it. So I'm hoping I can get some more of the yellow. So they come in yellow and in purple. And this is one of my prettier hostas, and I want to come in and separate this out. It's getting a little bit crowded, so I'll take some pieces off of this and put it in other parts of the garden. The oak leaf hydrangea, they're starting to form their flowers there. And this is just, to me, this is just a beautiful plant. I think it's cottagey, old-fashioned looking, and it's just stunning. The flowers will turn a big white, and then by the end of the fall, we have a bird. By the end of the fall, they're almost a pinkish brown color, and I think that has pretty interest pretty much all the way through the year. So again, just more irises. These are, you can see the white ones. They were huge, but now they are at the end of their cycle. Some knockout roses that I transplanted. The trees are greening up. This, you can tell here that all this is just about green, and then I noticed the crepe myrtles in the back. They're also, they're turning green too, and then the ones up front are greening up. So mainly for the rest of the month of May, I will be out sowing my seeds. I will continue, love going to nurseries. I'll be adding plants. I'm always on the hunt for plants, seeds, something that I don't have. And one of the things that I have tried to do this year, I am growing more flowers and more herbs, different varieties than I ever have in the past, because a gardener that I follow, he says, if you don't grow it, you don't know it. And I think that he is exactly right. So I really feel like you have to grow a plant before you know how that plant is. That's the best way to learn, is to buy it, either a seed, a seedling, or a plant, and just get that flower, that plant, that herb, whatever, in your garden, and just just play around with it and see what it does. You may have to move something, from place to place. I do that all the time. I'll plant something and then I'll realize, gosh, it really doesn't like it there, so let's get it moved. Here are some raised beds that are tucked back behind a building. And when I said you have to grow something before you know it, this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I have always admired the alliums, and I have gotten these growing here, and here, and here. And I think I bought them on discount, probably a little late in the season. But I've always been fascinated with these flowers, and so now I have them, I hope, established. This is something I've never grown before, so I decided to buy this. I'm trying this. One plant that I have always been curious about and I found these at Eden Brothers, is the artichoke. And I mainly want to grow this because I think it's so beautiful. I don't know, well, I've eaten artichokes and like spinach dips, but so what I'm going to do with these seeds, I'm going to divide these up, and I'll take out just a few seeds. I'll probably start out, I'll soak some seeds, and then I may sow them in the house under some lights. Then I may soak some seeds, bring them outside, put them in a special place. But I'm gonna, it feels like there's quite a few seeds in here. I may only plant like 5 seeds at a time, but I'm so curious how to get this to grow. I know it can be done. I just have to figure it out, and I can read about it, but I'm one of these people, I have to get my hands and I just have to do it. So I'll try that, but what I wanted to tell you is don't use all of your seeds. You know, maybe just use 3 or 4 seeds or whatever, and then if that worked, great, you can repeat it, but if it doesn't, then you still have seeds left. So I will be planting my artichoke seeds in the next day or two. But I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what you're doing. What are you doing in your garden? And of course, there's the maintenance of mowing and trimming and pulling weeds and putting down mulch and watering. Those are just things that we have to do. So now is the time to get our flowers, our bedding plants in, our gardens in, all of those things that in a few months we'll have all these beautiful blooms and all these fresh vegetables and all these wonderful herbs together. So thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.